computer. Okay, welcome to Growing to Gold or Growing Golds, call 2. Today we are going to talk about dripping. If you are new to the concept of dripping, basically when we talk about dripping, what we mean for our purposes is strategically engaging with people's social media to help build up that algorithm and the interaction so that more people see your posts, and also so that you build that like, know, and trust factor. Okay, so part of the issue with dripping is understanding what the point is. So like I said, so the point of dripping is twofold. It's to increase the algorithm and increase the likelihood that they're going to see your posts. And then number 2 is to help people is to connect with people and help people feel more connected with you. Does that make sense? Does anybody agree, disagree with that?
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody else have any other goal? Like, is there any other goal of dripping? Like, do y'all have any other ideas of like what's the purpose of dripping, or did that pretty much cover it? Okay, all right, gotcha. So those two things also can have two different actions, because if the goal is just to increase engagement and the algorithm, it doesn't really matter what you say. Like the actual words that you choose don't matter. It's the act of Facebook seeing that you are commenting on this person's post and them wanting to, you know, show you more of that to each other. But yeah, but when you're building a relationship, that's when the words could actually matter. Okay, so the first thing with dripping is that you want to do it strategically. Okay, so what you don't want to do is just scroll social media for 30 minutes a day and just haphazardly like and comment on everything, and then tell yourself that you're strategically dripping. So you have to have a process that helps you decide who you're going to drip on. And there's lots of ways you can do that. I know a lot of people just download their friends list. You can Google how to download your friends list on Facebook, and then just start at the top and make a list of the first like 20 and choose those people. Another thing you can do is you can think of people that come to mind that you're excited about, that you think would be good people to join you in Plexus for the products or the business, and then write down those people. You could do a hybrid of that where you look at your friends list and you pick the people, like you sort of start at the top and pick the people you're most excited about, mark them so you know you've put them on your drip list at some point, and then use those. But the key is that you do need to have a list. Okay. Now, when you're first getting started, especially when your friends are first getting started, what I like to tell them to do is go to a post that I was just thinking about. I was just looking at a lady today, and she's thinking about the business. And I went and found a post that she made that had 90 likes and comments. And I said, so what she could do is make a list of those 90 people, because we know those 90 people already at least have a little bit of a relationship with her, at least enough to click the like button. And then she could start first week drip on those people, and then next week message those people, like, because they already have a relationship. Okay, now, so um once you get your list and you're actually doing your dripping, yeah, that's, I think, when we have a really hard time, is because we don't know, we stress about what to say. So I'm going to give you a few tips on that, and then I'll we can try to answer some questions. Okay, so one thing is, I think that we overthink the dripping. You want to, like, you're first and foremost, when you're dripping, you want to be genuine and authentic and not be a robot. So for example, like, if you're trying to drip on somebody that has no post, then there's really nothing to do. So just, I mean, I would say you could go ahead and message them and move on, because there's no point in warming up the algorithm or trying to build engagement when there's nothing to engage with. So don't try to drip on people that have no posts. Okay. Number two, we all have, I want to show y'all this. We're going to go to, I'm going to share, we're going to go to my Facebook. Let me go to my Facebook. Let's see. I got to move stuff around here. All right, just for an example, we're going to go to my Facebook. Oh, we have lots of posts here. Let's close all the little things. This takes forever. I got to know, y'all. That's good. Okay. So we're going to go to just my home feed. Okay. All right. And we're going to scroll down. Okay. So like Richie here. The best revenge is to always to happily move on and let karma do the rest. I guarantee that some thought popped in your head. I don't know what it was, but some thought popped in your head. In my head said, I'm sorry you are dealing with difficult people. Will pray for you, friend. He's a guy that goes to church. I think he goes to church with us. So anyway, and then here's my friend that went on a cruise. And so I'm gonna heart it and I'm gonna say, oh my goodness. I love cruises. They are my favorite vacation ever because that's true. What was your favorite part? Okay, so I'm just saying what comes to mind. Oh, look, that's the Diamond Connection. Restore is in the warehouse. Orders should ship today. So y'all are getting special news. Now, here's a friend that's talking about they're going to stay for the storm. They live in Louisiana. They've flooded. They've had all kinds of issues before. So they're posting about that. So I'm going to heart that and say, oh, friend, my heart is heavy for y'all having to deal with this again. I am already praying for Louisiana, for my friends in LA, and will keep praying that this is a non event and everything is okay. All right. So, like, that is literally how I drip. Like, I read something and I think what comes to my head that's not rude, and then I type it. Like, I don't think about it for 15 minutes. If I can come up with a question to ask, I ask a question. Like, I could have read that and asked a question. But if I can't easily come up with a question, I don't ask a question. Like, I'm just going through and trying to see, like if somebody posts something that's cute, I might say, "Oh, that's a great color on you. Where did you get that dress?" Or, "Oh, I love your kids something. Where do you shop for them? Like, if I can think of a question that goes with what they posted that sounds like a reasonable human, I ask it. If I can't, I don't try to force it. Like, if you feel weird, then don't be weird. But also, here's the other thing. I treat social media like a friend. Okay. I think this is key. And this is something Emily Gibson teaches, but it's something that I always just did. And this may not be your personality, but it can be because social media is like a friend. And it's just you're trying to help, you're trying to connect with people. You can't possibly go engage with all the people on your Facebook. That would be stupid and it would be impossible to do and it's exhausting. So, when you post, you just post like you're talking to a friend. And then when people read it, they feel like they're listening to a friend and they start to feel connected to you even if you're not having individual conversations with all of them. Does that make sense? So, I'm sure that of the people on Facebook, some of them are your close friends and some of them are people that really you would unfriend if it wouldn't cause more drama in your life because you don't even like them. Okay. That's sometimes family, ends up in that position. You're like, I can't unfriend you, but I really don't even like you. That's when you hit unfollow and you just don't see their stuff and you don't get triggered, and it's totally fine. But if you can treat, if you will post like you're talking to a friend, like a good friend. Now, not like your bestie where you tell your private stuff, but if you'll post like you're talking to a good friend, then other people will feel like you're talking to them and they will feel like they're connected to you. I know this because this is what I do. And I have people walk up to me in Walmart. Well, not so much Walmart anymore, probably in the Dollar General because we don't have a Walmart in town, and they'll talk to me and they'll ask me about Finn and they'll say things and then they'll walk off and my mom will go, "Who was that?" And I'll be like, "I don't know." That she's like, "Well, they know you." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know. It's this thing." And you say, "Well, maybe that's because I'm a minister's wife in a small town." No, that happened to me in Fuquay where I only knew people online. They would walk into me in Walmart and they would talk to me like they know me. And my mom would say the same thing. And I'd be like, I think we're Facebook friends. I don't know. I don't know who they are, but I just I've just chosen that I'm going to talk to everybody like a friend. Now, honestly, that's really a way to not be hypocritical. I mean, if you want to, I mean, like, don't overthink that. Like, it's not like I'm being fake by talking to everybody like a friend. I'm just saying the same thing I would say to Angela or Angelica to the people on Facebook and the people in my news feed. So, like, Sarah Burgess, that is talking about the hurricane coming. I haven't talked to her in years in person. She was at our first church that we started at 20 years ago. But I care about her and the people of Louisiana. And I'm seeing the rest of you on this call, and y'all all care about people. So it is not a lie to show concern and care for somebody and just act like, just be who you are, no matter what your actual relationship with them is. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So some people are like, well, that feels weird and awkward. If they're posting it on Facebook, it's public. You can just have a conversation like that. And honestly, the way you're going to find, if you post on somebody's feed and they're like, well, that was weird. I don't know her. Number one, they're posting on Facebook for the whole world to see. So you're not weird. They are. But number two, they're not your people. You are looking for the kind of people that'll just have a conversation with you on Facebook because they're open to talking to people. Okay. So my first tip and the biggest tip is get out of your own head. Don't stress about what you're saying. If it feels awkward, then trust your intuition. But if you feel awkward just because you're an introvert and you're having to talk to people, that's different. You know the difference. I promise. You know the difference. But just, or at least you can. Like if you feel awkward because it feels uncomfortable because it's a muscle you need to stretch, that's one thing. So if you're struggling with that, you're like, I feel awkward. Can you tell me if I'm just being, if I'm just nervous or if like literally I'm being weird? And we'll tell you because I don't want you to be weird. I want you to be authentic and a normal human being. Well, I mean, like, I'm weird. So I messaged somebody about the cruise yesterday and I'm like, you probably think this is weird, but you've been following long enough that you know I'm weird. And when people come to mind, I just figure God wants me to message them and he can sort it out. But if you think I'm weird, that's fine. But like you are, I mean, that's just who I am. And so I think sometimes we struggle with dripping because we're not confident being us. So I want you to be confident and know that you have a lot to offer because you're a kind, caring individual. Like literally, your job, part of doing your job is to go out and look for people to add value to. That's what your dripping is. Your dripping is adding value. So when you look at somebody, I know you all, if we all got together in an elevator, we would be looking at each other's shoes, looking at each other's purses, looking at each other's hair, and we would be telling each other what we liked about each other because that's just who you are. So, how cool that your job is to go out and do that for other people. And you might be the only person that's going to say something nice to them that day. Okay? So you get to do that. So don't worry about like, are you being annoying and weird? Like if you're trying to force a question when you don't feel a question coming, well, that could be annoying and weird. Okay? Like, but if you're just being genuine, authentic, and sharing thoughts you have, or looking for ways to encourage or compliment or boost somebody's day, then that's not going to be weird. And on the off chance that people are like, well, she doesn't know me. Why is she commenting? Well, number one, why are y'all friends?
Right.
If you post something on Facebook, the expectation is that you're okay with people commenting on it, that you let be your friend. So they're the weird ones. And like I said, you are not looking for the people that would think that was weird and don't want to talk to you. They would be terrible network marketers. So don't waste your time. Okay. All right. So, what did I not address about? Okay. So how much? All right. What I try to do is I am not as we should probably have some other people teach this from another perspective that are more structured. I'm not super structured. I have a list and a couple of days a week I try to drip on those people. I'm probably not going to drip on them every day because that could end up being stalkerish and weird.
Mm.
But if they do post every day and I like something they post every day, I might comment on it. If I don't like it, or if I can't come up with anything to say about it, I'm not going to comment on it because I can't come up with anything. Now, if it's a thing where you just need to stretch your creativity muscle and come up with, and you're learning how to have social conversations, we can work on that. You can be like, Aubrey, trying to drip on this person and I can't come up with anything to say. What would you say? You can ask me. I'll tell you. I mean, but I guarantee you, y'all's brains are thinking things. You're just overthinking what they're thinking. I really think so. If I told y'all, okay, so just case in point, okay, I have this thing right here. You have a thought about this thing. You're like, well, that's cute. That's pink. Or I wonder what that does. Why is there a number 60 on it? Like, you have a thought. When I look at this, I think about when I lived in Fuquay-Varina and they said that putting flamingos in people's front yards meant you were a swinger. I mean, thoughts about everything I look at. I think, oh, I've owned this for like 2 years and it still has the tag. I should do something with it. Like, we all have these thoughts. You're just not using them. Okay. Now, should I go post about somebody being a swinger because they had a flamingo? No. I mean, you are having thoughts. Okay. All right. So, what was the question that was just asked? Let me look. Does liking the post do anything or do you have to comment? Liking is not a lot. That's like very minimal. It's not even worth the effort I mean, if you can't come up with anything to say about it, if your mind doesn't tell you anything, which I don't believe, if your mind doesn't tell you anything nice, then you probably don't want to be friends with that person. But if your mind doesn't tell you anything, then you could just like it or love it. But if you want to really, if you're wanting to be purposeful and get the most out of your work time, make a comment. But don't stress about, well, the comment has to be four words, or the comment has to have a question so they'll respond back. If you have a legitimate question, ask it. If you don't, then it might look weird and forced, if that makes sense. A lot of times I have a question. Like and I come up with questions the same way as I come up with comments. Like what pops in my head. I am a naturally curious person, but you can train your brain to be like that too. But I guarantee you, if you start thinking about it, you're having thoughts, and then automatically your brain is shutting those thoughts down. They're like, "That's a dumb thought. That's a dumb thought." You'd be like, "No, it's a thought. It's not dumb. It's fine. It's a thought." Okay. Let's see. So also, the distracted and starting scrolling thing. So I like to do two things. I like to scroll. I love to scroll. So I do two things for my IPA. I pull up my feed and I let myself scroll for 10 minutes and I just comment on everybody that shows up, whether they're a team member, whether they're a customer, whether they're a prospect. I just really like to scroll. And that just gets some extra people in my algorithm. So I just can set a timer, or I know I have about 10 minutes, and I just scroll and comment because I like to do that. Then I have my list, and what I have to do with myself sometimes is I have to give myself boundaries. I'm like, okay, Aubrey, if you go comment on your 20 people on your drip list because you didn't comment on your drip list yesterday because you were lazy, and you all, no, I'm not lazy, but I'm like, oh, I'll do the dripping later, and then I just don't do it. But so like, okay, I'm like, okay, Aubrey, if you'll do your 20 comments on your drip list, then you can go scroll and comment on everybody for 10 minutes. That way I get to do both. And I have to tell my brain to do something I don't really want to do as much, to do something that I really like to do. But here's the deal, y'all. I promise you, when you're actually dripping, I mean, it's not every person, but I signed a girl from she commented on, she responded to a story and was like, oh, I've been having gut health issues. I need to get back on that stuff. She's been like 6 years since she ordered, maybe 4 or 5. I don't know. It was a long time. And I noticed that she had been on my drip list because it works. I mean, it's just science. It's literal algorithm. Like when you actually do, the problem I think with dripping is we want that dopamine hit of knowing that what we did made a difference. We have the same issue with messaging people for the business or posting about the business, by the way, because we do something and then if we don't get an immediate reward, we don't think it works. We don't think it matters, but it does. But dripping is one of those that you do it and you may not see the fruit of that for months. But all of a sudden you'll be like, wow, yeah, she came out of nowhere. No, if you really look back, a lot of times it was somebody you were dripping on several months earlier. Okay, so as far as frequency and how much, I like to have a list of about 20, 25 a week. If you're making your list from your friends list on Facebook, I like to put extra because I know that some of those are going to be duds that don't post anything. But what I do 3 things. I look for 3 things when I'm looking at their page. Number 1, I look and see if they post. Then I look and see if their little bubble is active or like their little thing is active because some people are silent stalkers. And that tells me that they may see my stuff, even though they don't actually post. And then if they don't have that, then, and I do go look at their stories. Do you know how to tell? I'm going to show y'all on here for the people that are watching this in case they don't know. You can tell if somebody has an active story or not, because some people only post stories. Some people, so like let's say that Casey was on my drip list, okay? All right, so if I go to Casey's page, it's going to show me right here this little blue line around her story, okay? That means that she has an active story. So let's say Casey didn't have any posts. I need to make sure that she doesn't have any stories either, because people like Angelica used to not post at all, but they put stuff in their stories. And so story dripping is great too. You can always story drip. So like I can click on her story and then I can go look and then I can see her story. She's not feeling very hurricane today. I'm not feeling very hurricane today. Yeah. So anyway, so that, but like if I go to, let me go to Kay Finley. There we go. My mom does not know how to post a story. So if you look at mom's, it's white because mom has no stories. So I don't have to click on the stories. And she also has not posted since September. And that wasn't even mom posting. So obviously mom is not somebody that I would probably try to drip on. Okay. But then I can also go to her about me. I can read some things about her. I can look at her posts and see if she actually posted anything. I can see that she loves Trump. So we have something in common there. And I can, I can look at that and I can look for something to maybe have an idea of what to send her a message about. And we'll talk about that on Monday. Well, next week, you're going to have a little training every day that you'll watch and have a little assignment. And Monday's training, because we wanted to give y'all something while we were in Hawaii. And Monday's training is cold messaging without the cringe. And it's going to give you some tips on how to send some cold messages. And so, anyway, so one of the ways that you send a cold message is you find a story. And so like, could find a story for somebody that reminded me of my mom or whatever, and say, hey, I saw this story and I don't know if you can relate, but it was about a grandma that has to take care of her kids a lot and needed energy. And I thought it might, I was wondering if you could relate. Anyway, so I can use that but I'd go ahead and send a message, because there's no point interacting. And then, so that person may not end up being on your drip list, because like you could put them on your list and then you go look through it and decide who you're actually going to drip on, because there's no point in dripping on people that have nothing to drip on, if that makes sense. And I don't think you should have, and especially like if it's somebody that you've known in a previous part of your life and you have something that if you have something that you could send them a message about, if you can't comment on anything and they have no stories, but there is something reasonable you could message them about, you could do that. But the likelihood they're going to respond to that is kind of small too. So half the time I'm just like, I'm not even going to try to engage and drip on this. I'm just going to send them a message and be done. And they may or may not be interested, but I mean, you're not wasting your time trying to drip and going to their page and being annoyed that they never post anything. So anyway, and some of those people, every now and then I'll make a list of those people and go look for their posts on, if it's somebody I really want, and go look for them on Easter or like Father's Day or Mother's Day or something, because sometimes they'll post on those days and that'll give you at least something. But that's way more strategic than I normally am. Anyway, okay. So as far as frequency, I'd have a list of about 20, 25, and then I would drip on them a couple of times a week. So like if you have a list of 20, 25 and you're doing 15 minutes a day, you can start at the top and you may get through like half of them. And then the next day you can do the other half. And then you could maybe go back to the other half, but you really only want to drip on them 2-3 times max during the week. Now, stories are different. If they're posting a lot of stories, you can go respond to their stories. But I wouldn't try, if you're like dripping on somebody, I wouldn't probably drip on them more than twice in a week unless there was something you really liked, because that's just kind of weird and it can get awkward and weird. Yes, ma'am.
So, okay, from what I'm hearing, I just want to make sure I'm getting this correct. Dripping is really more just for visibility, for people to know who you are. You're not like, I mean, at some point, yes, you will message them about the product, but this is really them seeing you, you seeing them. And so when we do send out that message, however many weeks that may be or whatever, it's not going to feel like such a out of nowhere. It's like, oh no, we've been commenting back and forth on each other, or at least I've been commenting on your post lately. Is that what
There's two components. Now, some people will do like drip a week, message the next week. I don't tend to do that. I tend to I kind of do it more in a month, like drip on these people this month, message them next month. There's benefits to both. The thing is, and I was talking about this on the Alaska call, if you're waiting until you feel comfortable, like you've built that relationship up enough to message, you're probably going to be waiting forever. You're just priming the pump and making it more likely that they will have had some exposure to your posts before you message them. And trying to increase, I would say most people say some people say they drip to like build up the relationship to the point where it's reasonable to message. I think that's a challenge. I think it's unlikely that you're going to feel like you've done that. What you need to remember that I talked about on the Alaska call is that when you are posting, like I talked about on Facebook, where you're posting like you're talking to a friend and people are seeing that, they may feel like that and you don't even know it. So you don't need to worry about, have I dripped on them enough that they feel comfortable and we're in a relationship enough that I can message them. I would see it more as you're just trying to increase that connection so that there's a little bit of a connection there in the algorithm and they have seen your post. So it's not a complete surprise to them and they're not completely clueless and they might have a little bit of attention. It's like a billboard. Okay. I like dripping for a couple of weeks and then messaging, because it's weird. It gets weird if you want to drip on them 5 times in a week. There are some
Mhm.
type A people, red personalities, that they will drip for a week and then message for a week. I'm not going to say that's better or worse. What normally happens in actuality with me is I drip on a group of people for about a month and then I message them the next month. Because I also throw in like people that I've noticed have seen my stories sometimes, or people I think of, or I see a post about they're tired or whatever. Like if I run out of people to message, then I'm going to my drip list, but sometimes, so it ends up being about a month for me. But yeah, so Angelica, but the thing is, so like, let's think about a billboard. And this is, so your billboard is your posting. Okay. So let's say that you drive past a billboard every day well, I heard a story that this person drove past a billboard with the digital number showing the mortgage rates every day. And every day when they drove past it or they drove to their parents' house, they thought about, oh, I need to contact Mortgage Mike because I bet that I could refinance and it would be cheaper. But they drive past it, they think about it, they get to their destination, they forget about it. The person that they actually refinanced with was the person that called them. They had been primed thinking about it, but they didn't call that person because they were driving. And so when that person when they finally got a phone call, that they were ready to order. Okay? So the thing is, like, you're posting, like, I feel like dripping is really more to help create that algorithmic connection so they see your posts. Now, and also, they're not just seeing your Plexus posts, they're seeing your personal posts. And your personal posts are going to help them know, like, and trust you way more than any individual commenting back and forth on their feed is going to do for you. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I think that if we look at it that way, that I'm just trying to increase their connection, their likelihood to see my posts. And then I'm showing up on social media as my genuine, authentic self, talking to a friend, letting them get to know me and see if they know, like, and trust me. Then when I message them, there's a little bit of, that resistance is down. They have a little bit of familiarity. They're kind of maybe a little interested. They already kind of like me as a person, but it's probably not going to be from asking the right questions and having a conversation on their post. Does that help?
Mhm. Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
I
And then
love that.
you have to kind of figure out your process of, I try to make sure I send a certain amount of messages every week. Sometimes people come to me. So that's some of my messages. Like, and then sometimes I see people posting and they're talking about energy or they're talking about migraines. And so I'm going to message them. I'm going to explain how to do that in the cold messaging without the cringe on the Monday video. So like a week from yesterday is that video. And it's super easy and genuine and authentic. And then other times I have to message people from, well, and this week I've been messaging people about the cruise. So when I run out of those people and I still need to send some more messages because I want my business to grow faster, then I'll have to dig into the people I've been dripping on. So some people get dripped on for a month. Some people get dripped on for a little less than that. It just depends on when I need to shift and have more people to message. Does that make any sense?
Mhm.
It's not
It
as
does.
structured as some people, but you want to not miss everybody. So that's why you want to just start with your friends list, and you can sort it by birthdays and go through birthdays. You can sort it from top to bottom. I know people that have downloaded their friends list and started at the Z's. Like, it really doesn't matter. It's just trying to trying to do it in a strategic manner so that you don't run out of people to talk to, because your brain might run out of people that it thinks of. And it also tends to think of the same people all the time. And it sees the same people all the time. So dripping helps it's going to help you see different people, and it's going to help them see you. Okay. What other questions do we have about dripping? Yeah, okay. What other questions do we have about dripping? What else feels hard about dripping? I'm still eating. Sorry, guys. This is a really old picture. Does this clear up some of your questions about dripping?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
When you have a new person that gets started, they don't even have to drip at first, because they can make a list of the people, like I said, go to that one that the person had 90 friends like and comment, start with those 90 people. Start messaging those people. You only have to start dripping when you have to start creating more engagement and getting more people to come to your page. People shouldn't have to drip until after, like, I would say honestly, new people really wouldn't have to drip until they've gotten past silver 100%. You should be able to get to silver without having to drip. And then probably you could get past senior silver without having to drip. It just kind of depends on your network and how many people you've got. But
Cool.
so what's one thing you're gonna do is you're gonna take away and go do to help yourself get better at dripping this week?
Comment on the first 10 people I see, 10 posts, and just comment. And honestly, because I thought I was dripping by just liking, if I like it or I heart it or I haha it, whatever. I thought that was doing it, but I guess it's like actually commenting and saying something is what.
I think there's a level of, I think it's a level of engagement. Like, I think that's the basic level, but I don't think that's going to be as beneficial to you as commenting. I think you're going to get better engagement if you comment.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Erin's going to make a drip list. Have you really not made a drip list? You've made it.
No,
drip list?
okay, so I did it for a while, and then I started like having so many people who were watching my stories that it's not that I haven't been dripping on people all this time. Like,
Mhm.
I do a really great job of not necessarily scrolling through my feed, but like going and just like commenting and engaging with people's stories. But I haven't always written those people down.
You haven't been strategic
it's-
about it.
Right. So I've been doing it. But then like a lot of times like those people would then watch my stories, right? And so I was catching people
Doing it.
yes, but yeah, I just haven't been organized with it in a way that like is more like strategic. So I just know that it's like something I need to be doing.
Yeah. No, I think so too. And there's times in your business where I'm almost to 10 years. So there's been times in my business where I've dripped and times that I haven't dripped. And I'm really wanting to grow to the next level. So I've got to do that because I've got to have more people seeing my stuff and interested so that I can get more people in conversations. And it's just a part of the process. Like, you want to make sure you're always making new friends and getting more people to know you exist. And then you want to take those people from knowing you exist to having, to knowing, liking, and trusting you. And dripping is just a part of the way that you do that, more so to connect them with your page where you speak to everybody, and everybody that shows up gets to learn that gets to see who connects with you. And some people won't like you, and that's fine. They're not your people. If they don't like me, I don't really want them to be on my team. Like, I'm not going to kick anybody off, but if they don't, if they don't like Jesus, then we're going to have a problem because they're going to get tired of hearing me talk about Jesus. Like, Lindsay and I talk about Trump sometimes and some of the other crazy people, but we don't necessarily always go and post that all over Facebook. I don't know. Lindsay does more than I do because she doesn't have as many friends that would like call her and question her soul. But you could be posting something you think is super, super whatever safe, and you get called for it. So there's going to be those people, but you're looking for the people that connect with you, that are like, when I saw Lindsay's post, I'm like, girl, we are kindred spirits. You want those people because those people are fun. Those are the people you want to work with. Those are the people that want to work with you. And if you just go out there and be yourself, you're going to attract those people. You're going to naturally detract the people that aren't your people. And that's okay. We don't want them all. It's totally okay. We've attracted you guys. I love you guys. So I'm glad we have y'all. You have to hop on the phone with a business builder? Awesome. I'm so glad it was helpful. Okay. So does anybody else have any other questions about dripping? Okay. We are not going to have a call next week because I am going to try. I'm an Enneagram 3. Like, it's like Elf's boss is like, make work fun. Work is fun. I'm an Enneagram 3. Like, I go on vacation and I want to work. Like, that's just, I'm not good at sitting and vacationing. Like, I just want to sit in a beach chair with my iced coffee and look at the ocean and work. Yeah, and work. But I'm gonna try to at least mostly not work, because I don't want anybody to think they have to go on a vacation to Maui and work. Because most of you guys are not the exact same kind of crazy that I am. So, so we're not gonna have a call, but what we're gonna do is, like I said, Meredith and I have created a video starting Friday. There's kind of an intro, and that's a really good one to watch. They're not gonna be long. They're gonna be like 10 minutes. Yeah. And so I'm gonna try to rest. So we're gonna have a video starting on Friday, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And it's literally just things that you're already probably doing or need to be doing, and just a reminder of the systems that we have on our team. They literally are our systems. And so what I want to challenge you to do is watch those videos, do the assignment. It won't be hard. And then get somebody on your team to do the assignment. Lindsay needs to get several people on her team because she has several people that are trying to grow a business. So like, but at least try to get one person to do it with you. Now, Angelica, you're pretty new, but maybe you could get your brother to do something. You know, try to get somebody to do it with you. Angela, I would definitely try to get Monique to do it with you. And if any of her girls want to check it out, it's going to be in the team page and Team Abundant Life. It's just going to be a video with a little challenge, and you can just comment. And I will definitely bring back a prize or two from Maui, and we'll do a giveaway for people that, you know, do every day. And a couple people might get a prize from Maui. So anyway, maybe some nuts. They have really good macadamia nuts. So anyway, okay. All right. I'm going to let you guys go because I got a lot to do, but so good to see all of you. And I hope this was helpful. See y'all in the chat.